Hey everyone! Welcome back to Smart English Talk, your daily English practice.
I'm Emma.
And I'm Jack. We're really glad you're here with us today.
Before we jump into today's topic, quick reminder, if this podcast helps you improve your English, don't forget to follow, share it with a friend, and leave a comment. Your support really motivates us to create more lessons like this.
Yes, and today's topic is something that many learners find confusing at first, but once you understand it, it feels powerful.
Very powerful, because today we are talking about direct speech and indirect speech.
Also called reported speech.
Exactly. But before we start explaining grammar, let me ask you something.
Okay, I'm ready.
Have you ever told someone a story about what another person said, and then halfway through the story, you realized you forgot the exact words?
Oh, yes, many times, especially when I'm trying to explain an argument.
Exactly. You start with, "She said, I don't care." And then suddenly you change to, "She said that she didn't care."
Yes, and you don't even notice the change.
That change is exactly what we are learning today. Let's start very simply. There are two main ways to repeat someone's words. Number one, direct speech. Number two, indirect speech. Direct speech means we repeat the exact words someone said. For example, she said, "I am tired." We use quotation marks. We keep the exact sentence.
So it's like copying and pasting someone's words.
Yes, exactly like that. Now, indirect speech means we report what someone said, but not in the exact same words. Example, she said that she was tired. Notice something? I am tired becomes she was tired. The words changed. Why? Because we are not repeating exactly. We are reporting.
Let's make it real. Imagine this situation. Your friend calls you and says, "I am moving to Canada." That is direct speech.
Now, later, you tell your sister, she said that she was moving to Canada. You didn't repeat exactly, you reported it.
So direct speech feels more dramatic. Indirect speech feels more natural in storytelling.
Yes, and in real life, we actually use indirect speech much more often.
Now let's look carefully at what changes. First big change, tense. Direct. He said, "I work hard." Indirect. He said that he worked hard. Work became worked.
Present becomes past. This is called backshifting.
That sounds scary.
It sounds scary, but it's not. It just means when the reporting verb is in the past, said, the tense usually moves one step back. Present becomes past. Past becomes past perfect. Will becomes would. We'll go step by step. Let's try another example. Direct. She said, "I am happy." Indirect. She said that she was happy. Am becomes was.
Very logical. Now let's try with past tense. Direct. He said, "I finished the project." Indirect. He said that he had finished the project.
Finished becomes had finished. Past becomes past perfect. So the tense moves one step back.
Exactly. But don't panic. We will practice slowly. Now let's talk about something emotional. Imagine someone says, "I feel lonely." Later, you tell someone, "She said that she felt lonely." Feel became felt. Present became past.
Now imagine, I felt lonely. Reported, she said that she had felt lonely. Past becomes past perfect. Do you see the pattern?
Now, something very important. Pronouns also change. Direct, she said, I love my job. Indirect, she said that she loved her job.
I becomes she. My becomes her. Because perspective changes.
Yes, because now we are speaking from outside.
Exactly. Indirect speech changes perspective. Let's build a small story. Yesterday, my brother said, I'm starting a new business. That's direct. Later, I told my friend, my brother said that he was starting a new business. Notice the changes. Am starting becomes was starting. I becomes he. That's it. Now let's talk about everyday conversation. Friend, I will call you tomorrow. You report, she said that she would call me the next day. Now, something interesting happened. Will becomes would. Tomorrow becomes the next day. Time words change too. Today becomes that day. Tomorrow becomes the next day. Yesterday becomes the day before. Now becomes then.
Now, let's pause for a second. Why is this important? Because in real life, we constantly report what others say. At work, my manager said that the meeting was canceled. At home, Mom said that dinner was ready. In relationships, he said that he needed space. In news, the president said that new policies would be introduced. Indirect speech is everywhere.
Now let's compare both styles clearly. Direct. Maria said, I am learning Spanish. Indirect. Maria said that she was learning Spanish. Which one sounds more natural in storytelling?
The indirect one.
Exactly. Direct speech is more dramatic. It makes stories feel alive. Indirect speech is smoother and more common in conversation.
Now let's correct common mistakes.
Wrong. She said she is tired. If the reporting verb is past, said, we usually backshift. Correct. She said she was tired. Wrong. He said he will come. Correct. He said he would come. But here's something interesting. If the information is still true, sometimes we don't change the tense. Example, she said the earth is round. Reported, she said that the earth is round. We don't change is to was because it's a universal truth.
Ah, so grammar also depends on meaning.
Always. Meaning comes first. Now let's practice together. Direct. I am studying English. Indirect. She said that she was studying English. Direct. I can drive. Indirect. He said that he could drive. Can becomes could. Direct. I have finished. Indirect. She said that she had finished. Have finished becomes had finished.
You see how everything moves one step back? That's the core idea. Present becomes past, past becomes past perfect, will becomes would, can becomes could. That's the pattern.
Now imagine this emotional example. Your friend says, I don't trust him. Later you tell someone, she said that she didn't trust him. Don't becomes didn't. It's smooth, natural.
Before we go deeper into questions and commands in part 2, let's summarize today's main ideas. Direct speech, exact words, quotation marks. Indirect speech, Reported meaning no quotation marks, tense usually changes.
Tense changes, pronouns change, time words may change.
And the most important thing? Don't memorize blindly. Understand the logic. If you understand time and perspective, indirect speech becomes easy.
Yes, I think this is where learners start to feel confused.
Exactly. So today we'll slow it down and make it very clear. Let's start with reporting questions. There are two types of questions in English. 1, yes-no questions. 2, WH questions. We'll handle them one by one.
First, yes-no questions. Direct speech. She asked, "Are you ready?" Now how do we report it? Indirect speech. She asked if I was ready.
Notice the changes. Are you ready becomes she asked if I was ready. First change, we removed quotation marks. Second change, are becomes was. Backshift. Third change, you becomes I because perspective changes. Fourth change, question word order becomes statement order.
This is very important. Let's look carefully. Direct question structure. Are you ready? Verb first.
In direct structure, if I was ready, subject first. We don't keep the question word order.
So we don't say, she asked if was I ready.
Exactly. That is wrong. Indirect speech always follows normal sentence order. Subject plus verb.
Now let's try another example. Direct. He asked, did you finish the report? Indirect. He asked if I had finished the report. Notice something. Did you finish becomes had finished.
Why? Because did finish is past simple. In reported speech, past simple usually moves to past perfect. So finished becomes had finished.
So even questions follow the same backshift rule.
Exactly. Backshift still applies. Now let's talk about WH questions. Direct. She asked, where do you live? Indirect. She asked where I lived. Notice something different here? We do not use if or whether. We keep the WH word, where. But again, word order changes. Not, she asked where did I live? Correct, she asked where I lived. Subject plus verb, always.
Another example. Direct. He asked, why are you late? Indirect. He asked why I was late. Are becomes was. You becomes I. Everything shifts naturally. Let's talk about reporting commands.
Direct. She said, close the door. How do we report that?
Indirect. She told me to close the door. Notice something important.
We use told plus object plus to plus verb, not she said me to close the door. We say she told me to close the door. So tell needs a person after it.
Exactly. Tell someone to do something. Now, negative commands.
Direct. He said, don't worry.
Indirect. He told me not to worry. Structure. Told plus object plus not to plus verb. Simple pattern.
Now let's move to requests. Direct. She said, please help me.
Indirect. She asked me to help her. Notice, help me becomes help her. Pronoun changes, perspective changes.
Now let's make a real-life story using everything. Imagine yesterday your manager said, finish this project today. Later you tell your friend, my manager told me to finish the project that day. Today, that day.
time words change again. Now, imagine your manager asked, "Can you work late tomorrow?" You report, "He asked if I could work late the next day." Can becomes could. Tomorrow becomes the next day. You see how smooth this becomes?
Now let's talk about time word changes more clearly. Direct, today, that day. Tomorrow, the next day. Yesterday, the day before. Now, then, this, that, these, those.
Example. She said, "I am busy today." Indirect. She said that she was busy that day.
Let's do an emotional example. Your friend says, "I will never forget this moment." Later, you report, "She said that she would never forget that moment." Will becomes would. This becomes that. Small changes, big difference.
Now something important. Do we always have to change tense?
Usually, yes, if the reporting verb is in the past, but if the reporting verb is in present, we don't change.
Example, she says, "I am tired." Indirect, she says that she is tired. No backshift because says is present.
So the reporting verb controls everything.
Exactly. If you say said, shift back. If you say says, usually no shift.
Now let's correct some common mistakes. Wrong, she asked, "Where did I go?" Correct, she asked, "Where I went." Wrong, he told to close the door. Correct,
He told me to close the door. Wrong, she asked that I was ready. Correct, she asked if I was ready. Small changes, big clarity.
now let's build a dramatic conversation. Direct version. She said, "I can't trust you." He replied, "I didn't lie." She asked, "Why did you hide the truth?"
Indirect version, she said that she couldn't trust him. He replied that he hadn't lied. She asked why he had hidden the truth.
Look at that transformation. Can't became couldn't. Didn't lie became hadn't lied. Did hide became had hidden. Past moves deeper into past perfect. It sounds more natural in storytelling.
Now, imagine reporting news. The teacher said the exam will be difficult. Reported, the teacher said that the exam would be difficult. The doctor said you need more rest. Reported, the doctor said that I needed more rest. Need becomes needed. Present becomes past.
Now, let's connect everything together. Indirect speech is about backshifting tense, changing pronouns, changing time words, changing word order in questions, and using to structure for commands. If you understand these 5 things, you understand reported speech.
All right, now we're going to bring everything together in a simple, confident way. This time, I'm not explaining alone.
Good, because I was starting to feel like a silent student.
Exactly. Today we do this together.
Deal. So where do we start?
Let's imagine a real situation. Yesterday, your friend said, "I am thinking about quitting my job."
That's direct speech.
Yes. Now, today, I ask you, what did she say?
I would say she said that she was thinking about quitting her job.
Perfect. What changed?
I am thinking became she was thinking.
Exactly. Present moved to past. Perspective changed.
And it sounds smoother, less dramatic.
Right. Direct speech is dramatic. Indirect speech is storytelling.
Let's make it more emotional.
Okay.
Imagine someone says, "I trusted you."
Ooh, serious.
Now report it.
She said that she trusted me.
Why had trusted?
Because trusted is past simple, and when we report it using said, it moves back to past perfect.
So past becomes past perfect.
Exactly.
So let's try questions now.
Okay.
Give me one.
She asked, "Are you okay?"
She asked if I was okay. Why not was I okay?
Because indirect speech uses statement word order, subject first.
So no question form inside indirect speech.
Correct.
Now, I'll try to make a mistake on purpose.
Good, I'll correct you.
She asked, where did I go?
Nope.
Ah, yes.
It should be, she asked where I went.
So we remove did.
Exactly. We don't keep the question structure.
Okay, commands now.
Yes.
She said, close the window.
She told me to close the window.
Why told?
Because when there is a person receiving the command, we use told plus person plus to.
So not, she said me to close the window.
Never.
Now let's create a mini story together.
Okay.
Direct version. Maria said, I'm nervous about the exam.
Paul replied, "You will do great."
Maria asked, what if I fail?
Paul said, "You won't fail."
Now, indirect.
Maria said that she was nervous about the exam.
Paul replied that she would do great.
Maria asked what would happen if she failed.
Paul said that she wouldn't fail.
See how it sounds like narration now?
Yes, like someone telling a story after it happened.
That's the key idea. Indirect speech is used when the moment has passed.
It creates distance.
Yes, time distance and perspective distance.
Let's quickly review changes again, but together.
Okay.
Jack, present becomes
Past. Past becomes
past perfect.
will becomes
Would,
can becomes
could.
questions become
Statement order.
commands become
Told plus object plus to plus verb.
perfect. Now, something important. Sometimes learners are afraid of reported speech.
Yes, they think it's complicated.
But it's logical. It follows time.
If the reporting verb is in the past, everything moves back.
Exactly.
Let's do one final quick challenge.
Okay.
Direct, I am learning English.
She said that she was learning English.
Direct, we finished the project.
They said that they had finished the project.
Direct, can you help me?
He asked if I could help him.
Direct, don't forget the meeting.
She told me not to forget the meeting.
Nice, smooth, clear.
And that's it. Direct speech gives life to dialogue.
Indirect speech gives structure to storytelling.
Both are important.
Both are useful.
And now you understand both.
If this episode helped you, follow the podcast and share it with someone who struggles with reported speech.
And in the comments, write one sentence in direct speech, then change it into indirect speech.
Practice makes progress.
Keep learning.
Keep speaking.